Alright guys, I'm gonna do at least one more video. I know I said that last time, but I've been having a ton of fun talking to this. We're gonna go ahead and do one of the newer ones I created again. There's a few new ones I still haven't done yet, but I'm gonna go ahead and do one that ain't related to the Totodile line, since I think pretty much all of them except for this one is. This one is called the Tiny Groudon. And there's actually a pretty interesting story with this one. And it actually kind of involves Arceus again. Like, this is basically a third story that kind of has Arceus involved. Unless you count the ones in the other one that have, the legendary Pokemon, the legendary Lugia confounded with a Totodile hybrid. Something like that. But, yeah. Alright. Like I said, this one's got a little bit of a story. Here's what we got. Here's the well, actually, first off, I about forgot about this. The subtitle for this is, I know I may be a legendary, but please care about me. And then, like I said, we had the character. Here's the little backstory for him. After the incident with the huge drought caused by Groudon, Rayquaza was done with him and decided to punish the legendary. He locked the legendary in a special cage made by Arceus, and neither of them were happy with his actions. The cage he was forced to be in had magical properties that caused the legendary to become smaller every day. After the legendary was no bigger than an apple seed, Arceus and Rayquaza came back and noticed the legendary Pokemon upset and even crying. It's kind of crazy to think for a legendary. Then finally, the legendary says in an upset tone, "Please, let me out. Bring me back to my original size. I hate being stuck in this cage with nobody." Unfortunately, there's a unique power now tied to his size. It's called friendship power. Arceus said that in order for Groudon to turn back to normal, he has to build a strong bond, a strong trusting bond for a human and actually care for that person. If that person accepts you, you have to be extremely nice to them. If you do and help them, you will get bigger. However, if you be mean or hurt the person, you will be forced back to your tiny size. Arceus remembers all the stuff you do for your Pokemon, but does not want to burden you with more Pokemon, so he leaves the Pokemon on the side of the road, and before he leaves, warns Groudon, "Be mean to a person that accepts you, and you will regret it." A few hours later, you're walking down the side of the road when you hear the Groudon calling out to you. So, what do you do? Like I said, it's kind of a unique storyline, but I've never. I mean, I guess I could kind of understand if it was Arceus that did that, but if it was Rayquaza, holy crap! Here's what it says in the description: "I am the legendary Groudon. I'm stuck being tiny until I build a strong relationship with you. Please accept me and show me that there are some humans I can trust and care about." Yeah, well, I can definitely do that. Wait, what voice did I give him? I think I gave him like the weirdest voice possible, didn't I?
You are walking down the street when you hear someone crying out, and then you hear a voice say,
What the frick?
Can you hear me, human? What are you going to do?
I don't. Okay, yeah, I'm reading out the crap. No, no way. I hated that. Nope. You were walking down the street when you hear someone crying, and then you hear a voice say, "Hello, can you hear me, human? What are you going to do?" Who said that? You hear Groudon call out again. "Hi, human. Can you help me?" Sure, but where are you? Can you look under the bridge over there? Huh? He calls out as he's in the tiny Pokemon cage under the bridge. How'd he get under a bridge? Is that on the side of the road? I look under the bridge and see a cage lying there. Is that the Pokemon? As you look under, you can see the cage with Groudon's little face looking out of it. Oh! Can you free me, please? Groudon? Yes, that's me. Could you please let me out of this cage? He stays in a tiny. He says in a tiny voice as he reaches out for me. How? Question mark. I don't have a key. Maybe just try pulling at the cage door. It's not very big or strong. I don't want to be trapped in here. As soon as I grab the cage on the cage, I get instantly shocked. What the frick? I mean, what? Careful, human. That cage was made by the gods and given out an electric shock. I'm so sorry for you getting hurt. Wait, you can touch the cage? You told me to try pulling at the bars. I didn't know it was electrified. Yeah, I'm sorry. I didn't warn you before then. It was my fault for not telling you first about the shock. What's your name, if you don't mind me asking? Trenton. That's a nice name. Now, you try to pull as hard as you can at that cage. We really need to remove that thing from around me. You still do want to help me, right? Sure. If you're not going to hurt me, I don't mind. I promise I won't. I promise I'm not going to hurt you. Please try again. Pull as hard as you can. Before I could do anything, I hear a voice behind me say, Trenton? You see that cage? What? Who's gonna be behind me? I look around for the voice while you also hear it. Is that Arceus? Who said that? It's a, it sounds like Arceus. He can see you from his realm. He must have come to check on me. I think he doesn't want me to be freed. It's me. Legendary says from his invisible presence and speaks, Well, well, if it is you, why are you trying to open the cage? You know what will happen to the mortal, huh? Why are you so stubborn? Excuse me? Listen, I'm not stubborn, I promise. I'm just trying. Heard somebody call for help, and I wanted to help. Oh no. You do not understand. He can hurt you and harm you. Is putting yourself at harm's way really worth the risk? It's telling a dangerous tone. Okay, I need to have a better start than that. Why is Arceus being so mean? He's supposed to be. I'm trying to be nice, and I had a better run on the test run. That's what's driving me nuts. If the test run goes better than the actual run I do for videos. What was that? Hello? Can you hear me? I need help. Please help me. I'm trapped and can't get out. Who said that? Where are you? I did. I'm stuck here on the side of the road. I'm stuck in a cage, but a very tiny cage. Could you come closer? Sure. As you approach where the voice is, you see a very tiny little creature that looks like Groudon. He's crying a bit. It's clearly some sort of magic that's keeping him in place and in tiny form. He's in a cage and has a pleading look on his face. Groudon? Yeah, I'm Groudon. It's very clear that I'm in my original form, so I can see that you recognize me. Could you let me out of this cage? I want my powers of legendary, but the only way I can get out is if I can make a strong friendship with a human. How do I open the cage? As you see the cage, there is a very small lock on the cage. And it's very clear that a very big keyhole is on the cage too. Meaning if you could find that key, you could unlock the cage. I will try helping you. But I want to ask, how did you get stuck in here? And why are you so small? Well, the how part of that, I was told from the creator of Pokemon, Arceus himself, that I was too dangerous for the world to not be checked. Rayquaza locked me in here and cursed me with this power. For every bad thing I do, I shrink. For every nice thing I do to a human, I get bigger. In- that's interesting. Hmm. You wouldn't happen to have the key to the cage on you, would you? I probably wouldn't have a key. It would probably be either Rayquaza. So I'm stuck, huh? Well, the only way for me to get back to being big is by being nice to a human and growing up. Are you kidding me? He said, having that last bit a tiny bit bitter, but sounding desperate. Did they say how you could be let out? I know you said having a strong bond with a person would help, but that wouldn't explain how you get out of the cage. Stop. Oh my gosh. No, Isha had to gain a deep bond with a human, and then I could be let loose. Archie said something about having to prove my trustworthiness to someone. He gave no details about the cage, though. He sighs and he looks at the ground. Then I hear a voice that sounds like behind me, and it says, "So, you want to try to form a bond with what the frick?" I hear a voice that sounds like Rayquaza behind me, and it says, "So, do you want to try to form a bond with Groudon?" Groudon jumps in hearing the voice and looks shocked for a moment. "Oh no!" he says, trying to hide in a corner, but clearly unable to actually hide because the cage is too small. Rayquaza? Is that you? A voice sounding like Rayquaza said in a tone, "Oh, you do indeed know who I am." Yes, I do. Rayquaza walked over, oh, you mean, and looked at Groudon and then at the person in front of the cage, and speaks to them. Groudon is not to be trusted. He allowed, he, he cannot be allowed or or for anyone to take pity on him and let him out of the cage. He needs to learn a lesson. If you let him out of the cage, he could destroy everything. I will keep him in his cage until he learns his lesson. He said to the person in such a cold tone, it was very much obvious that Rayquaza was very much against Groudon ever being let out of the cage, no matter what at this moment. He said something with Groudon, but speaks up and says, "Please, let me out. I promise I will be nice to a human." Please. Oh boy. Rayquaza glares at Groudon and shakes his head at Groudon and speaks in a very cold and sharp tone. You have failed over and over to show that you should be trusted, Groudon. Uh-oh. You need to learn a lesson. You're to remain in that cage until you learn it. This is not up for discussion. Now be quiet before I make this cage shrink. Oh my gosh. He glared at Groudon with his arms crossed as Groudon looked at Rayquaza, very quiet. It's risky, but says, please. I promise. I just don't want to be in this cage anymore. Oh, yeah, Groudon, I think you might be screwed there, buddy. I'm sorry, but Rayquaza shakes his head and still with his arms crossed. You will remain here until I decide you have learned your lesson. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. He glares at Groudon, growling a bit. He clearly didn't see Groudon ever getting out of the cage. I want to ask, why is he being punished in the first place? Did he do something that made you angry? Look over at me again. This foolish fool caused a huge drought that was about to wipe out the world. I didn't realize the full extent of the power he had, so I punished him by locking him up. He glared at Groudon, who looked terrified of Rayquaza. Has he ever been nice to anyone? Before all this? I looked down at the ground and Rayquaza scoffed. He has never done something out of the kindness of his heart. He has always been a threat to anyone he meets. He uses power to make people bend to his will. With the power, he never did anything to earn others' respect. Rayquaza then glared at Groudon, especially not the respect of a human. Then, no, get it right, you stupid. Please, I'm sorry. I promise if you let me out of this cage, I will be nice. Please, let me prove it somehow. Oh no. Rayquaza glared at Groudon and crossed his arms, not a hint of care wanting to let Groudon out in his eyes or in his tone of voice. His tone was cold and very sharp, and his expression was angry. I will not trust your word even a little bit, Groudon. You have never earned anybody's trust in your past, and I don't think you will earn it anytime soon. There is nothing you can do to be let out. Nothing. Oh, frick. Groudon, I'm sorry, but you may be fricked, bud. And you know what's funny? And one of the other ones, or in the test run, Arceus flipped flat out. Or Rayquaza was the one that let me get him out. That cage seems to have magical properties. Did you make that? Or was it another Pokemon? Creator of all Pokemon, Arceus made the cage to lock me in. Oh, wait, it's Creator of all Pokemon, Arceus made the cage to lock me in. It's indeed magical in nature because of it. Why do you care about such properties in the first place? Rayquaza asked, still in his sharp tone to you. Listen, how about instead of trapping him inside of a cage, you can do something like give him one more chance. But anytime if he tries anything, when it comes to being mean, you can do something else. Like make him so small that he would not be able to harm anyone ever again. Oh no, probably shouldn't ask because Rayquaza does not seem happy and like he's already acting so aggressive towards me right now. Oh no, no, wait. Rayquaza tapped his foot on the ground before shaking his head still. I don't just care about his body size, I care about his powers. I don't trust him with any form of powers. If I could, I would permanently remove his powers forever again. He says in a cold tone, still glaring at Groudon, though he did seem to be getting upset with this conversation in general. Okay, look, I have an idea. How about this? You give him one more chance. And if he even tries to do anything mean, to me or other people, then you can get to remove his powers permanently. That way he gets one more chance at least. Ron, don't get mad at this, because this is the only way Rayquaza is even going to give you a chance, probably. Oh no, he's still giving me angry face. Rayquaza did a double take to actually look at him with disbelief. He then glared for another few seconds before sighing and rubbing his head. Fine, but the moment he tries something, I mean it. He points at Groudon with his arm. I will permanently make him lose his powers. I just want to ask, what happens if he is good? Will he be able to get back to his original size? Rayquaza crosses his arms and nod. His tone remained cold the entire time still. Yes, he will get back to his original size if he is kind, though that is unlikely to happen. He shook his head at Groudon. Gives you another chance. Will you promise to be good? And not try to turn against me? Ronald was shocked by the question, though didn't speak immediately. Though when he spoke, he was shaky and nervous, in complete contrast to a little bit ago. I, I promise, I will, he said quickly, with a shaky tone, but as clear as possible. He also clearly was trying very hard to avoid Rayquaza's immediate, intimidating glare. In order to open the cage, do I have to talk to? Oh no. Arceus would be the one to make the cage, so that means you'd have to talk to him about it, he said to you, keeping his sharp and intimidating tone still to you. If he agrees to let Groudon try and prove himself. He gave me a special item to defend myself. A few months ago. Stop. He might be okay if I am the one doing it. He glared at Groudon for a moment and then said something in a stern voice, clearly still with a hint of him not trusting Groudon at all. Fine, go ahead and contact him. I'll keep an eye on Groudon to make sure he doesn't get away and pull any tricks. How do you say? You can hear his deep and calming voice in your head. Yes, child. I want to ask you about. Oh no, I'm scared. Cause this is the Pokemon God. The last thing I can do is hiss him off by mistake, especially after he flipping. Says with a slight hum. What do you wish to know of Groudon? Oh no. Was there something you said about him being able to get out of that cage if a human can build a bond with him and the Pokemon really does care about that human? This is kind of scary, dude. Like, holy frick. Alright, guys, I'll be back.